Hey, welcome to What Blitz World. And look, I've made a little bit of a transition from the mobile tanking platform, which is World of Tanks Blitz, and given the old PUBG a bit of a go. So PUBG's now moved to mobile, which is great because you're not tied down to a PC, you're not tied down to a laptop, you're not tied down to anything. You can just pick up your mobile device and start shooting the baddies, which is cool because we all love to shoot baddies. And the best part about this game is you're not relying on a team member. You're not in solo match anyway. You can actually just get out there on your own, and it's you versus the whole entire world, or at least another 100 of them anyway. So the best thing I've noticed about the game is, you've got a diverse range of people that can play the game. You've got, some fairly sort of average players right through to some really good players. And certainly the longer you are in game for, the more likely you are going to come up against players who actually have more experience in the game and who know what they're doing. A lot of people have transitioned from the PC version of this over to mobile, which is what this version is. And, so there's people with a lot of experience. This is actually my first foray into PUBG. So it took me a good, I don't know, maybe 10 games to pick it up and understand what I was doing. I didn't know what the big circle was that came in on you and caused you to start bleeding profusely and ultimately kill you. So there's been a lot of aspects to PUBG that I've had to work out, and the tutorials and stuff like that is fairly average, I would have to say. When I mean average, you don't really get told the ins and outs of a duck's bum right up front. So it's very good for you to just learn what's going on. So the first few matches I started out playing squad, and in squad you're actually paired up with four players in total, so you're one of the four, and you actually go out and can go and play the field. Now, if you don't know anyone else playing the game, that squad is random, so you've got no idea what can happen. My third game of squad, I was in a vehicle, and the dude driving the vehicle, who was unknown to me, just turned around and drove straight off a bridge into the water and killed all of us, which was awesome. So that was my first time of seeing that you can't rely on those squad players if you're paired up with them. So what I'm doing in this match now, though, just to give you an indication, is I've kind of figured out one of the best ways of winning in this game, and that is you'll see on the big map that comes up, there's a circle that comes in, which is a white circle, and it gives you time to get within that white circle as the playing field gets restricted over time. So the longer you're playing, the more it gets restricted, and what happens then is you end up in a situation where the circle gets smaller and smaller until everyone kills everyone and there is a clear outright winner. If you're in squad, all it needs to be is you and one of your other squad mates still involved in the game to be the winner. If it's solo, you have to be the outright winner. And if it is in duo, it's either you or your partner, and you still can register a win. So duo is where you want to pick up with one of your teammates, someone you might know, play the game, things like that, and get into it. You've got a range of options in terms of, finding equipment and finding different pieces of the puzzle. Little things like, how you can actually make your weapons better. Things like muzzle brakes, you've got forward rest, you've got chin rest, you've got different pieces on your weapons that actually make the weapons perform better. So assault rifles are obviously the best way to go, and you pick up stuff along the way as you go. So as you drop out of the plane, you've got nothing. It's really important to get the first part of the game right, which is the flying through the air and understanding where you're going to go. That allows you to establish what your gameplay is, which is get to a building, start gathering stuff that's going to be useful. There's no point gathering 9mm rounds, for instance, if you're going to be shooting a 5.56 rifle or a 7.62 rifle. That just does not make any sense at all. Shotguns, those sorts of things, there's no point getting shotgun shells if you don't have a shotgun. And there's no point keeping that stuff too in your backpack. It just allows you not to pick up stuff. So you see I'm constantly going back to the map, and I'm resetting my little marker there, which I can put down, which gives me up on the map at the top. You'll see you've got north, south, east, west, and see now I'm lining up my direction marker with my marker that I've put down, which is where I'm strategically looking to run to or get to in order to get within that white circle and not get trapped by the constant blue wall that keeps coming in and trying to kill you. So not only have you got the enemy trying to kill you, the game itself is trying to kill you, which is pretty cool. And so that was probably one of the biggest elements that I had to work out. The other thing that I didn't work out up front was put your bloody earphones in. You can actually hear what's going on, and you can actually hear when people are creeping up on you. You can hear a whole bunch of stuff that's really important to the game. So if you don't have earphones in, you will not hear any sound at all. And my win rate, or my success rate, I should say, actually improved out of sight by sticking 2 earphones in, not just one, because it actually works in stereo and you can actually pinpoint where people are creeping up on you. So that's a really cool aspect. And so far, you know, I've had a range of games in the top 10, and top 10 is considered really good. And that's my aim, is every time to be in the top 10. That gives you a shot at victory. So different tactics for victory. You'll see in this match here, there's only 14 people left at this point in time. I've killed 2, and I've played a fairly sort of, I would say, reserved match in terms of my aggression. I've just sort of hung low, grabbed what I needed to grab, and just played it so I keep gradually getting to where I need to go. So my tactic here is I get to the edge of the white circle and stop. I know that as soon as the blue circle comes in, I'm safe. It's not going to get me. And I also know that anyone who's outside that blue circle is going to automatically drop off the perch and die. So you can see as the blue circle comes in, you'll watch the alive section at the top left, and you'll find that people just suddenly drop off the perch, and your competitors kill themselves, or the game kills them, which is really cool. So I keep checking, obviously, in the rear view mirror to make sure that that blue circle is not going to come in and take me out, restricting the playing field. And all the time I'm looking around to make sure no one's running up behind me from outside the circle who's going to pop me one right in the butt and ruin my whole day. So then now what I start doing is I'm looking at my counter, which is above the map there, below the map there on the right, and I'm looking at how long until that circle's restricted again. The game tells me too, with the white line on the map, where I've got to get to in order to stay safe and out of that blue circle. So what I'm worried about though, is a lot of people do this, and I keep coming back to my map and referring to that, is a lot of people sit there and wait for people to come out of the circle like I've done here and pop them off. So you do get some people camped like that, and I've actually done that myself. How cool is this? I just discovered there's a box someone else has dropped someone else, so I've creeped up here, and you can get some additional things if you haven't got it. If you're not happy with your loadout, just keep raiding people's boxes that they've been, either you've killed or someone else has killed. And so at this point of the game, unless my ammunition was really low and I was concerned, I wouldn't be worried about going and looking for things in buildings and stuff like that, because that's normally where people come unstuck. You see someone go into a building and that's all done and dusted there. So now I keep looking at my map and I'm trying to plan which way to go. From here, I'm looking, if I go near the buildings, the logical place for people to be hiding is in those buildings. I thought, well, I might jump in this car. Trouble is, it's out of fuel, so forget it. I didn't carry a fuel gun with me, so get out of that, and I'm just going to go on foot. And now I know I've got 22 minutes until this circle comes in. I need to get a move on. I need to get a wriggle on. And so now I'm putting in the hard yards, but I'm looking at the layout. I'm trying to look where the land is, and I'm trying to determine what is the game going to restrict me to. Is it going to bring us to a building for the finale, or is it going to bring us to an open field? Is it going to be what is going to take place at the end of the game? So I'm trying to constantly think what is going to be our end game here, and I'm trying to choose the best weapon. You can see the weapon I've got here is on auto, and so I don't want to end up being in a situation where I've got to sit there and aim, trying to get my opponents out of the match and kill them. Also, see there's been a box dropped up here. Now, for me, that's generally dropped within the white circle from the plane. It's got other supplies and things in it. Sometimes you get good finds in there. Sometimes you don't. So they're not always an advantage, but a lot of players are attracted to them. So you can see someone running across the top of the map here, right out of my field of view. They haven't seen me, but they're running, so they're obviously going for that box. Again, I've positioned myself just outside that white circle. I know I've got a bit of time up my sleeve. I'm not rushing straight in. I'm trying to look for where's a good place for cover. You can hear some gunfire going off shortly, and I know that there's a bit of a battle raging on, and I think it's down towards those buildings there. So I'm just playing it safe. I'm trying to creep up on the area and get myself in a position where I've got some cover, and that's something that World of Tanks Blitz taught me. You go from cover, which is either hard cover like a tree, or soft cover like with a bush, which doesn't actually give you any kind of there's some gunfire going on there, which you can pinpoint and see on the map. It shows you where it's coming from too. So you can put all those pieces together, say, well, I need to keep away from that area. But obviously too, if there's gunfire coming from that way, that's an area where they're likely to come into this restriction circle as it comes in. So I just need to keep my wits about me, keep looking around, using that I button to keep searching what's going on. And my goal here is to be one of the last couple of players standing, so it gives me an opportunity. But you notice I'm not rushing in. I'm not trying to be Rambo and take everyone out, because with that is where you're going to cop a potential bullet to the head, and your game's over, done and dusted. So if your goal in this game, PUBG Mobile, is to win, if that's what you're trying to achieve, and who doesn't want to win, then you've got a situation where you need to put yourself in the best possible chance. And so what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just hiding in this gully. I'm keeping my wits about me. I'm looking around. I'm checking all the areas where I need to be concerned with. And I'm actually looking at where potentially they're going to come from. See, now my circle's being restricted, and I know that anyone outside that circle is going to drop off. So see, straight away we had a couple of people die as a result of that circle restriction. And what I'm constantly now looking at is, where am I in relation to the new restriction of the circle? And I just want to keep moving to the edge of that. I don't want to go to the center of it, because then I've got to check all sides. So I'm always keeping the invisible wall behind me, i.e. the blue wall behind me, because I know that most people aren't going to do that. They're not going to come through. So here I'm just looking around. I'm using my advantage, which is I'm down below, which I've got the cover of this bank, and I'm looking around. I'm looking around for signs of anyone else, because I know there's only 3 of us left, and I have no clue where they are. But you know, the circle's pretty small, so they're here somewhere. And I'm just playing it safe still. I do go in here to see if there's anyone camped in these buildings, and I know they're not. So now I know my back is safe, and I do know I've got to get back to the white circle, which is going to restrict in about 20 seconds. So I'm, again, trying to play it safe and trying to keep this hill to my advantage. So now I drop down to the prone position, and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to go over to this crate, use it as a bit of a cover. So the crate's my cover, and I'm just going to sit here. I'll have a quick look in there to see if I get some more ammo, which I do. 7.62, I was getting lower on that. Not that I'm going to need it for 2 people, but you don't want to be in a position where you've got no ammo at this part of the game, and you don't want to have to be shifting to a different weapon. You have to choose the weapon that you're going to finish the game with. This is it. There's no more options for us to sit back and think about it. There's no more options for us to go looking for any equipment. We are now at the finale. And so this part of the game is where the adrenaline's up. You know, you're starting to really sort of think, mate, I've got to watch what I'm going, watch what I'm doing, watch what's going on around me, and look for any signs of movement, which your opposition's doing the exact same thing. So here, it's where it starts getting really interesting, and I find that the match intensity raises right up. And this is where a lot of people make mistakes. And some of the things I learnt to do here was, obviously, if you've got three people left, you're one of those three. Uh, they're going to start taking each other out very soon, and then you can go in for the kill. Throwing a grenade. There's only a smoke grenade, but I threw it, trying to put them off. They got no idea where that came from. And I'm just trying to create a little bit of distraction, which is going to give them all sorts of things. They don't know who threw it, but what it actually does, it starts the shooting happening because one person flinches and actually gets up and starts to do something, and that allows me to come in and make the final thing. So these guys are shooting each other. I'm now from this position here. I managed to get a kill, and I'm looking around to see where the other party is, and I just keep looking around. I get out of the blue circle. I've just spotted him, so that's it. Now I just get up and start shooting, and I'm in the blue zone, but I don't care because I want the kill. And there we go, winner, winner, chicken dinner, and that is how you win in PUBG. So love the game. Please subscribe to the channel. There'll be more of this stuff and more tanks.